Hey guys, Rudder here. It is June the 22nd today. As you can see, we're having what we like to call here in Vancouver beautiful cloudless skies. This is as cloudless as it gets here in Vancouver, at least over the last year and a half. So we're going to consider this to be a perfect, flawless summer day. And as you can see, I have put some tomatoes in the ground today. They haven't been watered yet. They're getting a little wilty, but as you can see, I buried them very deep, and that's a good thing because tomatoes grow roots off the sides of the plant when you bury them deep, so there'll be plenty of roots on these guys. And I gave them a mixture of half compost from my compost and half like mushroom manure that's been sitting for a year. It was used for growing mushrooms, and now it's just basically nutrients. So I bought a bunch of bags of that from a fundraiser down at the local school, and mixed it together, and these guys are loaded with that stuff in there. I put a good cubic foot in the bottom of each one underneath each plant and around the roots. So you know, this soil doesn't look all that spectacular, but that's okay. Don't worry, they're taken care of. So I just have an odds and ends video for you today. A few links down below. As you can see, I'm trying to protect these guys from the deer that love to come in and raid my yard. And you can see the twine fences I have up. Twine does actually work if you put enough of it up like that. If they can't jump over it and they can't duck under it, they'll look for another way. And that's all I'm trying to do here. Not trying to keep them out with the string. I'm just trying to give them incentive to go somewhere else. So I've encased the entire yard in this stuff. Here's another one of those twine fences. Yes, I've been to the dollar store a few times this year to pick up twine. You can get 3 nice big rolls of twine for $1, well, $1.25 with inflation now at the dollar store. Check out all that nature I got in my backyard. Isn't that pretty sweet? I think it is. Goes back quite a ways here. I guess that's why the deer like to visit, because there's plenty of nature up there. I got quite a few strawberries coming in. Some will be ready in a few days even. And the blueberries, I don't know how far off from ripe these are. I've never had a crop of blueberries before, but they look like they're getting bigger anyways. Haven't quite changed color yet. They're going to be nice and juicy. I didn't do much in the way of potatoes this year, just a little bit to try it out. Last year was pretty good for potatoes. They don't need a lot of light, so that's why they did okay last year and everything else died. Hopefully this year we will get enough sunlight to grow not only the potatoes but the tomatoes. I was going to go inside to do the rest of the video, and then I figured, why bother? I'm just going to be sitting in front of a computer screen talking about links. And I know what the links are anyway, so check it out down below. The first one is Ron Paul and Barney Frank have introduced new legislation today to end the war on drugs forever in the USA, federally this time. Many states have already legalized cannabis, as if a plant needs to be legalized. Oh, yeah, we'll legalize ferns. I don't know. But you know what I mean. To end the prohibition of cannabis. And you read the bill. Read the article. It's not very long. You know, pretty important legislation to be introducing. And wow, Ron Paul, I have so much respect for that guy, it's not even funny. I have for years, and you know, he's in the middle of running for president, and yet he's still doing his job as a congressman. He's introducing important legislation that needs to be dealt with. And the war on drugs is costing us somewhere near $1 trillion, I read, just prosecuting people and putting them in jail for their use of a plant, which does not affect anyone else other than themselves when they use it. So, you know, the war on drugs is a failure. We've known this for a long time. It's political. There's a guy named Marc Emery, a Canadian, who sold cannabis seeds online. Someone from the US bought them, and he's now doing 5 years in a US maximum security prison, away from his wife and his supporters and his family, because he sold seeds to a plant, and someone from the US bought them. It would have been a $200 fine for him in Canada, but Canada extradited him to the USA so that he could be punished for 5 years as a political prisoner. Just an absolute tragedy. that people can be punished in other countries for doing something that is not illegal where they are. Incredible how much power the US has. If they want someone in one of their jails, doesn't matter what country that person's from, where the crime was committed, or if it even was a crime where they committed it, that person can go to jail in the US. And he's got no rights anymore. So this is a war that needs to end. Speaking of that, I believe the Afghanistan war is supposed to be coming to an end. Obama is talking about bringing the troops home, although I believe this has been talked about for many years now. So we'll see what happens. But I'm definitely for ending wars, especially wars of aggression and conquest, like that one. And no one wants to hear about Bitcoin, do they? I guess that's probably why there haven't been any videos on YouTube about Bitcoin lately, at least the channels that I look at. But the news in Bitcoin is that Bitcoin crashed to 0.01 US dollars. Yes, 1 cent per Bitcoin. What was it, 3 days ago? 2 or 3 days ago? The biggest trading exchange for these things is called MTGOX, MTGOX.com. I'll put the link down below. And what happened on Mt. Gox is, well, the story is hard to interpret, but what it seems to be is that somebody hacked into the system, changed a whole bunch of usernames, passwords, got a whole bunch of people's, vital information and whatnot. And then what it seems to be is that they had access to someone's Bitcoin, and they put an order in to sell these Bitcoins at a very low price. So that triggered a whole bunch of purchases at lower and lower prices. And eventually it actually hit 1 cent. And at that point, the trading exchange shut things down. And what they're going to try and do is try and secure their system, first of all. And then they're going to try to get people back into their accounts. And once they can do that, what they're going to do is they're going to fix the price of Bitcoin at 17.5 US dollars and then allow trading to resume, and hopefully it won't crash. Now, this bothers me for a couple of reasons. One, Bitcoin is supposed to have no central authority. Apparently almost all trades go through this one website, and now they are fixing the price of Bitcoins at $17.50. That sounds like a central authority to me. This is something that's supposed to be run on everyone's computer, unhackable, and no central system. Well, that's been shown to be a lie. There is a central system, and it's not, just run on peer-to-peer solely. So that's gone out the window. Not only that, but if you're fixing a price at $17.50, is that really a free market currency, or are you determining the price and setting price controls? I fear that Bitcoin is done. I don't think it ever was viable. In fact, the Electronic Frontier Foundation, EFF, has announced that they are dropping their support of Bitcoins completely. One of the only major groups that was supporting Bitcoin at all. So it does not look like this experiment is going to work, but what I do think is a good thing is that something was tried that's different, that's important, and some mistakes were made and some lessons were learned. So, hopefully we can go from there, and maybe something like it can sprout up. I'm sure it will continue. I'm sure that it will continue for some time, but in my opinion, the credibility, if it had any, is lost now. There is a central authority, it is hackable, and they are price fixing. It's not a free market at all. So that's it for this episode of the Drutter channel, and I hope you've enjoyed the scenery, and I wish you the best of afternoons and evenings. Talk to you soon.